Good evening. Y'all look fantastic. I'm still rolling down the river, and y'all had me going tonight. Are y'all having fun tonight, Las Vegas? Yes. Well, it is so nice to finally be with you, my HRC family, live and in person. I am so proud to serve as a member of the foundation board of the Human Rights Campaign. Now, as a black man who also happens to be trans, I feel so lucky to play a black man who is trans on a hit show, 911 Lone Star, on Fox. Now, this show was literally a dream come true for me. I work aside Rob Lowe, Gina Torres, and a whole handful of amazing actors. And I get to play a character named Paul Strickland, who's a firefighter who navigates his own vulnerability while saving lives. Now, while we film in Los Angeles, the show is based in Austin, Texas, which is arguably one of the safest places in Texas for a trans person to be. Austin's all right, you know. But the reality is, Texas really has no safe places for transgender people. Now, in case some of y'all missed the news, those people over there have not, but in case you have, Governor Greg Abbott recently directed his social services agency to investigate families that try to get medically necessary, age-appropriate, gender-affirming care for their kids, calling it child abuse. Child abuse. Now, the governor's directive also calls on teachers and medical professionals to report these families to the state and threatens the removal of their professional licenses if they fail to do so. I mean, think about that. Think about it. You're a doctor, and you're doing everything that every credible medical organization says that you should be doing to care for these kids. And you're being asked by the governor to violate your ethics and forcibly out these children. Children. My heart breaks right now for these kids. It breaks for folks who love them, for these parents, for the teachers, the people in the community who see who they are and want to nurture who they are, but they can't. Now, my character, Paul, runs into burning buildings, he puts himself in harm's ways, and he fights to save lives. Now, for those of you who know a thing or two about firefighting, you never run into a dangerous situation without making sure that your colleagues on the force have your back. Now, that is an apt metaphor for the moment that we are living in right now. Because right now, in Texas, in Florida, in Alabama, North Dakota, and unfortunately many other places, the house is on fire for our community. In Florida, the new laws are actually out right now, that keep kids from using the words gay or transgender in the classroom. They prevent workplace trainings. Yeah, boo that. Boo it. They prevent workplace trainings that address bias based on race, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Now, there are more than 300 bills like this proposed in state houses in just this year. It's May. 300, and we ain't even halfway through the year. Now, make no mistake, this is coming from the same place as the attempt to overturn Roe versus Wade. Now, as a trans man, these bills banning my community's access to health care come from the same place as the extremists who want to ban women and trans and non-binary people access to reproductive care and abortion. They want to keep us from our doctors. They want to keep us from making private decisions. They want to control us and deny us a chance at living freely. Now, the HRC and other amazing organizations, including state LGBT groups, are like the firefighters. They are rushing into battle to put it out, okay? It is exhausting, but it is vital. And the tyranny of this is that people like me and women and trans kids around the nation need to know the same allies who had our backs when it came to marriage equality are stepping in right now to have our backs too. These attacks are personal to me, and I know they're personal to you too. These laws are rooted in the same attacks our community has faced for decades. They want to make it harder for people like me, for people like us to just exist in the world. Sometimes the stories we tell ourselves about our journeys, we sort of gloss over the hard stuff and we rush to the happy ending, you know, because trauma is real and we want to show that we overcame. But skipping over the painful challenges robs us of the opportunity to share our full humanity. Now, I grew up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I knew I wanted to be an athlete. I knew I wanted to act. I knew I was different. But I was lucky enough to live in a progressive community where I was given the space to sort of be myself and figure out my path. And that path gave me the grit to make it on the boys' high school football team before I even knew what trans was. The coaches let me try out on the first day, and my mom, God bless her for this, she let me march out there as this little hard-ass kid out here determined that I proved to have what it takes to play football. And when I look back at that kid right now, I see so much strength. But I have a whole new respect for the vulnerability that I had too. I was scared. I felt like I was walking out there alone to do it. And a lot of kids right now feel like that. But I went, and I made the team. I played fullback and defensive end all 4 years of high school. And when I was on that field, playing a sport that I loved with a team that supported me, I felt so alive. And I felt powerful. And most importantly, I felt like I belonged. As much as my teammates didn't know the depths to which that was true. Now, ironically, my team was named the Pioneers. But I can't help thinking about what it would mean if I had access to the information that kids have today, and what it would have meant to play with the boys, being seen as the boy that I was. I'll never know or fully appreciate what was lost in those moments for me, but I'm damn certain I want young people today in Texas and in Florida and across the nation to have the freedom to be able to be themselves openly and fully. Yes, yes. I want every child to have the sense of belonging that every kid deserves to have. And that is what HRC is fighting for. And that's why I'm in this fight. I get to use my athleticism every day in my job. I get to play the hero. I get to be my full self. And there is a team here at HRC that has my back. For me, playing sports was a lifeline that helped me find myself and feel complete. These horrendous anti-trans sports bill bans that are being promulgated around the nation, that's going to rob trans girls and trans boys of the opportunity to compete as their true selves. As a nation, we need to do better than this. We need to make our country more open and inclusive and not be slamming doors in the faces of kids who are just trying to live their best lives. We're not two separate communities. We are one. And I want to be sure that we show up to the fight ready to battle as one. Now, many of you, thank you, yes. Many of you in this room were here when we fought the government to acknowledge the devastation of the AIDS epidemic. And we fought against Don't Ask. So y'all was there, right? It took a lot. It took people coming together from all walks of life to come together to fight that, right? And also against the Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We fought for marriage equality as well, together, right? You have used powerful platforms. You have fought for our families. You have shaped the stories that gave humanity to our lives. You called out the bullies. You helped expose their lies. Now, this is the next chapter in our battle right here, right now. This is our moment. And we need more firefighters in the fight. So please help me, help HRC bring more folks into this battle. It is time to run into the fire together.